Netflix always comes up with like very interesting programs, documentaries, and I know we both spoke about it. Was the Biggest Loser one?
Yeah, I managed
you
to
know,
watch it. I got through the 3 episodes.
Yeah, and like I said, a lot of takeaways. And again, most of us all know what Big Loser is, or at least have heard of it, or thought
Yeah.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, it's quite a few years ago now. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's basically the extreme weight loss program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was like your kind of biggest like takeaways from that?
There's a lot that are taken away from it, but at first it was hearing the stories of all the contestants and why they wanted to go on the show and why they're so desperate to go on the show. I actually felt sorry for them. Like, to them in their lives, this was the last chance for them to have a healthy life, to have a future with their husbands, with their kids, so they can be happy, save marriages. And it's quite sad to listen to that, you know, that this show was going to be that saviour for them.
I think because obviously the show is quite old as well. The fact that you can win $250,000 at the end of it, like, I mean, it's a lot.
This was 2004.
I mean, it's a lot of money right now, but back then that was like
equivalent to $1 million.
Do you know what I mean? So, you know, the fact that there's a reward at the end of it, you know, doing all these kind of auditioning for the shows and I
found that quite like the man who auditioned 3 times, and each video got a little bit more extreme, so we can get noticed for the show. And I just thought it's a bit demoralising, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, Joe, I mean, obviously the proof shows that obviously, you know, some of them had massive drops, but when you actually watch a documentary, you understand why they've got big drops, you know. And obviously, first thing straight away is, you know, some of them are averaging 800 calories a day.
Yeah.
I mean,
800 calories a day while burning 6,000 calories a day.
I mean, 800 calories a day in 1 meal. Like, near
Easy.
enough. I mean,
Easy.
even like when we was in Blank Street Coffee area, you have a coffee, you have one of them pastries, that's your 800 calories
800
done
calories
straight away.
done.
Like, done.
Yeah.
Like, it's next to nothing. I think,
and especially when you're so big. Because did you notice throughout the seasons they spoke about how, say, them contestants was 250 pounds, and then they wanted the 300 pound contestants, then the 400 pound contestants, and what they mentioned was they got so big, exercise was dangerous for them.
Yeah.
So they could not move. They're pulling backs, injuries.
With it, it's like, again, like, are you doing it? And like I said, we'll go about it shortly, but it's the case of there's no care in the first place. It's like, we want to make a program, we want to create entertainment, we just want you to lose weight. Yeah. And if we have to push you to a certain limit, which is well over the top, we will do that.
Well, you had, from the documentary, what we watched, you had the producers who was demanding what they wanted to see. They wanted entertainment.
Yeah.
You had the personal trainers who was in competition with each other to get their clients to lose the most weight. And then you had the doctor, who was the best one out the group, who was constantly trying to educate them to do it safely. Yeah. And he was the one who was getting pushed to the side most of the time. Yeah, it was like, no, we do it our way. Yeah, thank you, bye.
When really that's ridiculous. Like, you know, you're overruling doctors. Not any doctor. Like,
he worked with the NFL.
Like,
he wrote the story for Any Given Sunday. You know what I mean? He's quite renowned, like, good doctor within the fitness industry. So yeah, it was good to watch. It's reassuring to watch, to know what we do is right. Yeah, especially long term. Because, you know, we know what's right today, but you always think about the future, which it kind of gave us that reassurance that what we're doing is right. And
like I said to you, realistically, like, to try and burn 6,000 calories a day, you know, I think, like they said in the documentary, like, they're training like 4 times a day, doing
8 hours?
6 to 8 hours a day. If you look at that from like a normal day,
I couldn't do it.
It's not going to happen.
I couldn't do it day after day. Well, 6 months.
Yeah.
The show would go on for 6 months.
And, you know, obviously it works for guys getting the weight down, but even just some of the training methods, again, like I say, I would never get someone who's going to be weighing 300, 400 pounds to be running.
Yeah, I know.
mean, the pressure, the amount of weight loaded on joints.
Racing against each other. Yeah. Now, when you've got a group of, say, people, forget about them being fat, and you're getting them to race against each other on their own fitness journey, it's you know, you don't know about the injuries and their personal problems, etc. And it just seemed wrong anyway. But then being £300-400 and having a race against each other, I mean, that's the entertainment part for the people and not the looking after the contestants.
I mean, even like the let's be honest, like even like the trainers with the shouting and the insults. Let's be honest, like, if I'm shouting or giving insults to my clients, 99% of them are going to tell me to do one.
Yeah,
say do one.
As we've got older, I think our approach to how we train clients has changed, and being beasted is no longer needed. Yes, you got to work hard, but being beasted, if you're going to a session with a trainer and you're sick at the end of it every time,
there's something wrong.
Yeah, it's either you're not eating the right food or you're not eating at all, or the trainer's pushing you too hard. Yeah. And I know that happens sometimes when you're getting to know your client and you're getting to know boundaries, and they're like, oh, Damien, I'm feeling a bit sick. I'm like, okay, let's slow it down. Let's rest up. Let's get you back right, because I do not want you sick. There's no need for it. We can progressively overload and get your fitness up slowly. When you're watching the people on The Biggest Loser being sick on a treadmill, and being told to carry on,
it's like, it's just like where's the care, man?
Yeah.
Like, and again, like you've got to think of the other side. I think, well, what kind of trauma could be on the back end of that?
Well, the one lady mentioned, didn't she, that when she was young, what made her overweight was when she was being shouted at and verbally abused when she was growing up.
Yeah.
But that's where the consultation comes in with your client, so the way we try and find these triggers so we know what not to use.
Yeah.
And what to use. And that level of care just wasn't there. It was purely entertainment and getting the viewing numbers up.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, obviously, if you know from the consultation that shouting at them could be the worst thing for them, you got to have that care.
Unless a client says, I like to be beasted, or I'm going into the army, something like that, then there's no need, is there?
Let's be honest, right? The amount of times it's happened, we go, Len, I want you to beast me. I'm like, all right. Then fucking
10 minutes in.
It's like blowing out the right. I'm like, you told me to beast you.
Yeah, but you're doing that still without shouting at them.
Yeah.
The only difference with you shouting at them is that you're going to raise your own blood pressure. And I don't need my blood pressure raised. Yeah. I like being calm, you know what I mean? So none of that. Now, the bit that really disturbed me was the temptation challenge. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, that's what I mean. Like, I remember watching that bit. And again, like I say, that's like meeting the demons that you try.
Explain it though, so people know what we're on about, the temptation round.
So basically, they're in a room,
yeah,
and there's chocolates, cakes, fried food, all the foods that they love,
yeah, and we all love,
and they're given 5 minutes,
yeah.
And obviously, because it's a camp where they're away from their family for 6 months, so they're not seeing the family, and then they're told, right, eat as much food as you can in 5 minutes. Whoever eats the most calories gets to see their family.
Yeah, but they're expected really not to eat the food. And this is what disturbed me by watching that bit. I was like, just wait. You're telling someone who's got an addiction to food, which in my theory in life is we all got an addiction to food. So you've got these severely fat, obese people where you've been trying to educate them. You put them on 600 calories, and then you're telling them, go in a room. If you eat the most calories within 5 minutes, you get a chance to see your family. That was like, what's going on?
Yeah,
it didn't make sense to me.
Not right. And like I say, it's
cruel.
It's cruel. And like I said to you, like that's your demons right there, and you're trying to get away from your demons, and you're being tempted by it. And again, like I said to you, it's also the knock-on effect, because you've got a taste for that now. Does that then create? Because I always look at the bigger picture. Things like that, that's going to make you have a bad relationship around food. Yeah. Like us as trainers, us as coaches, our job is to help clients get a good relationship around food, not a bad relationship.
Most of the time, they've got a bad relationship with food. They're eating this food either in secret or because it's comfort eating, or they don't know how to cook. The bad relationship with food one way or another.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's like just doing a bit of dieting, and just the thought of, God, it's
when you diet down, so people know, you do photo shoots sometimes for your own challenge. You like to get down to photo shoot ready. Do you buy food on that journey for when you can eat, you know, the food that you crave? Do you go, oh, you know what, I can't have this now, but I'm going to buy it?
So I remember there was an Instagram page called The Cookie Dealer.
Yeah.
And every day I'd just be there, just looking at them, just looking at them, thinking, oh God, that cookie looks delicious.
Trying to get a smell through the phone.
And then like I look at it and think, oh, and then I think, right. And then they're offer on where it'd be like, something like if you buy 4, you get 2 free or something like that. I think, right, we'll have that one, and that one, and that one. And of course,
you're planning out.
And then, of course, guess what happens with our phones?
Yeah.
Algorithm.
Yeah.
What happens next? I see more cookies. So what do I end up doing? Cookie deals, and then I think it was the one called Brooklyn Brownies.
Yeah,
so
I've had Brooklyn Brownies.
Order some Brooklyn Brownies as well, and that's what I mean, because you know, obviously, you know, you're dieting, so the temptations are greater.
Now,
you know,
imagine being a big
then,
fatty, and you know you're fat. You know you've got an eating problem. Your algorithms are showing you your food constantly,
and you're in a room full of it. You're in a room full of it, smelling it, like it's right there, like. Yeah, that's torture.
It's cruel.
Yeah.
So, we going on to. I don't want to go off subject, but if you had a Biggest Loser kind of client that came to you, that's £300-400, and they said, "Len, I want personal training," what would your advice be before you tell them to spend the money with you? Because I'm not saying it's a waste them coming to you. But I feel like they'd be wasting their money if we can't get the basics done on their own first.
I think first and foremost is why.
Yeah.
Why now?
Yeah.
Like why do you want to do this? That's the first thing we look at, and then it's a case of maybe delving into a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
Into regards to what does your life look like right now?
Yeah.
What are your daily challenges? What are you facing on a daily basis? And then once you start to kind of unpick it a little bit and find out more about what their challenges are, then we can say, right, well, what would life look like if we lost £100?
Yeah.
And they might turn around and say, oh, I can actually bend down and tie my shoelace, or oh, I can play with my kids, or I can do this. Then straight away, I'd be listening to that client thinking, right, okay, you've mentioned your kids, right? And I would then think, right, that's one of our motivators right there. You've mentioned me right now. It's not a case you want to lose £100. You've just told me now that you want to do it because you want to be able to play with your kids.
Yeah, better relationship with your kids, more active with your children.
So I think, and obviously it's unpicking stuff, but not being in a position where you're trying to go too deep where it's not in your realm of speciality.
Yes. Like a psychiatrist and stuff like that.
So I always will get to a point where I think, right, okay, I've got a bit of an idea now. I'm not going to go any further because that's not my area. So once I know that it's just kids is the motivation, I'll say, right, well, let's put that into practice now. Let's start to implement this. What does your day look like right now? What does a normal day look like? You know, what from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, what time, you know, how you having your first meal of the day? What are what are you doing in your day? Are you at work? Are you at meetings? Are you with clients? Are you with friends? Are you socializing? What time do you go to bed? And then once I've got more of an idea what your lifestyle looks like, I can then say, right, okay, this is what I need to do with your lifestyle, right? You know, if you're out with your friends quite a lot, they all have drinks. And funny enough, actually, going on talking about drink, actually, I've got a potential new client starting with me. And he says to me, Rich, he goes, I drink every night.
Yeah.
He goes, I said, I finish work, I meet the lads, I go for drinks. And I went, right, okay. I said, what if you stop doing that? And he goes, oh, you know, they might get a bit funny. I said, right. I says, they're not your real friends. I said, because your real friends are there to support you. So if you all of a sudden go out with your mates and you're not drinking and they get offended by that, that's their problem, not your problem. Because
100%.
A real friend will actually, you know what, fair play, you're not drinking, and they know the reason.
It'd be fair play. I'll come to the gym with you.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So I think, you know, again, I know we're going to have a tangent off that one, but it's more of a case of just looking at the reasons why you're doing it.
Yes.
And then, like I say, from that moment, we start to dissect everything, look at the day, look what your normal eating habits are.
So where do you fit into that obese client's life? So once you've mapped out their journey as a one-to-one instructor, where would you fit in? Because I feel like if you're £400, which is very heavy, there's things that you can do on your own that will help. Do you know what I mean? And I know why people come to see a personal trainer, so they're accountable to somebody.
Yeah.
But you know yourself when you got a £300-400 client, the machines aren't built for them. They're not that good. You know what I mean? Their mobility isn't going to be that good. So I'm not saying it's a waste, but for me, there's things that they can do in their lifestyle that will help on their own a whole lot more than spending money with me. And that's me just being honest.
Yeah.
For the first part of their journey, I'm really just their support.
Yeah. I think obviously there's going to be many things that they can do by themselves. Obviously, straight away steps.
Yeah, the basics, and that's what I wrote down.
And just daily habits and daily routine.
Yeah.
However, like the one thing I would say though is you got to think to yourself, right? If they invest in myself,
yeah,
that could take a lot of courage. And
100%.
And they might have been on the fence for a month, 2 months, 6 months, or even might have known about us for years.
If the £300-400, an idea of a personal trainer has been in their head for years, you know, someone to help them, if that's Weight Watchers, whatever, and this is how, and this has gone from the documentary. I just think that a lot of things come down to being happy, and if you're not happy, if you're overweight, underweight, on weight, whatever it is, everything else in life is unhappy.
Yeah.
And it's trying to find, no matter what weight you are, it's to find your happiness.
Yeah.
And being happy with yourself.
Well, and that's what I mean. Like, I mean, one thing that I talk with clients is what good things happening today?
Yes.
Right.
I like that.
And then straight away, I always say to my clients, and funny if I said it to a client this morning, I said, my objective at the end of our session is I want you to go out this gym knowing that you are one step close to working towards your goals. It's a positive step in the right direction.
Yeah.
And I want that every single session. So even though like there might be other things I can be doing, I know that my job is I want to walk out them doors knowing that they're one step closer, that they're going in a positive step, or they've got the information from me in that session to help them move along.
Yeah.
And, you know, and sometimes, you know, with certain clients, it might be a case of just need to just vent out.
Venting and clients, it goes with the package. You just got to listen.
So sometimes they just need to vent. You know, and like I said, I think you know, that's how I'd look at that.
Because after I watched the documentary, I actually walked around the gym, and I walked around and I noticed that actually isn't them £300-400 client or members in the gym, and I did actually think to myself, they're not here because they don't feel comfortable coming to the gym. Now I don't know what it's like at your gym, but we definitely didn't have those type of members in the gym. The ones that actually need it aren't coming because of their lifestyle, the habits on not being happy and not being feeling like they can come to the gym. And I do think there's got to be a way that we can change that outlook for the fat people, where we can bring back things like fat clubs again. And I don't mean slightly overweight, because I don't know if you remember this in Fitness First, we actually had fat clubs. And we had people who were slightly overweight saying, why haven't I been accepted for fat club? And we was like, but you're not fat enough. And they're like, no, but I am. I'm overweight. And we're like, yeah, but we're trying to get fat people, like obese. And so we actually had problems with members complaining because they wanted to come into this fat club. But the actual members that we wanted was the ones that wasn't in the gym already.
Yeah.
And I still think there's that market there where we can have a fat club where it's not beasting, but we're getting them going for a walk with them, getting like-minded friends that are overweight, sharing recipes, cooking for each other, you know, becoming like a community of fatties where they can be happy and lose weight steadily and reach that goal. Because there is that disconnection now, I think, with the gyms. And that's only from watching that documentary and walking around the gym and seeing what we're actually missing in the gym.
I think one thing that's happened, I mean, I can't comment on all gyms, but I can comment more towards your budget kind of gyms. Again, they're not manned as much anymore.
Very true.
Right?
Yeah.
So, again, trying to get a gym induction is a lot harder now than it was 5-10 years ago.
Then how
so if you don't
small of a person do you have to be to fit in the pods to go into the Pure gyms and the gym?
Yeah.
Can you imagine being a £300 or £400 person trying to get into a pod?
Yeah.
To be let in the gym?
So for example, like again, because they're cutting costs and stuff like that, gyms are not as manned as often. I mean, like I say, mate, a lot of the time, I'll be honest with you, I'm in the gym by myself, PTing. Like, there's no, I mean, I can't comment on other personal trainers, but I generally don't see many other personal trainers working. And the shift hours aren't that great, and the manager hours are generally your kind of 8 till 6 kind of hours. So I'm here early morning, no one's really around. You know, obviously, if I'm thinking, right, says to the missus, right, next week I'm joining the gym. And they want to go in the morning, come in. Not a member of staff. So I'm not saying that's generally the gym's problem, because at the end of the day, it might be a case of researching what kind of gyms might be more suited for that. But as a general rule of thumb, like especially in Wolverhampton, we've got a lot more budget gyms to pick from.
Oh, there's loads of gyms. I just don't think we're catering now for the people that really, really need it. And I think what is catering for the people at the moment is Ozempic. And you know, we know. I think everyone knows how we feel about the injections, and I just think we've got to get back to the basics. Call fat people fat, and not be ashamed of it, because they're on a journey to get better, and not always try and make people skinny. Just make them healthier, fitter.
This is it. Like again, just briefly on that, we've mentioned many times before that it does obviously work, but what's it teaching you? It's not what's it teaching you? And the bottom line is you're going to go back and forth. And then you're going to come into a position where you can't come off them.
Well, even the people from The Biggest Loser, all of them put the weight on and more. After I don't know how long, but now they're all back obese.
And that's because of the broken metabolism. That's because they're on a restricted diet. They're on severely low calories. And again, like I say, you got to think, well, there's going to be some point when your metabolism is going to have to change, and of course, that's what's happened, and that's why even like in that documentary, the doctor is saying, "Guys, you need calories."
That doctor was banged on all the way through.
And this is what I try and tell my clients: like, you need calories. Slow, sustainable fat loss is the way forward. If you're wanting fast results, you've got to ask yourself, why is it fast? Something's got to give.
Fast on.
And then you're going to be in a position where, well, what do I do now? And again, that's why most of them are rebounding, because of the impact to it, really.
Do you remember the winner of the overall winner of The Biggest Loser? Do you remember how much he lost?
£239.
That's right, £239. That's equivalent to a heavyweight boxer. So he lost in 6 months £239. That's the same as, say, like Moses, Dylan White. That comes to £1.3 a day, £9 a week, nearly £40 a month he lost. Then
it's mad.
That is 17 stone in total. Well, 17.7 in total. Was it? No, 17 stone, £1 in total. I was just shocked. You know what I mean? It's like, I weigh 11.5 stone. Do you know what I mean? And then obesity in America, and that's why the concern. At the time of the show in 2004, 33% of America was obese. Now, in 2025, 45% of America is obese. And I don't know what our stats are for the UK, but we're never far behind. You know what I mean? And this is where that concern comes in now, where I look around the gym, I feel like we've got a lot of fit, healthy people in the gym. A lot. And they love it. The gym's a new pub, and there's a new vibe to gyms.
I definitely agree with that.
But these fat people aren't going, and they need to find their place in the gym, because if not, Ozempic and semi-glutide and that is always going to be the answer for them.